A new executive order could lead to significant cuts to local libraries and museums. The order was issued by the Trump administration on March 14th. It would effectively shutter the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services. Our David Sackrider spoke with the Saginaw Library Director and shows us how losing the agency could impact patrons here in mid-Michigan.
This book is traveling from here in Saginaw all the way to Spies Public Library in Menominee, Michigan, something that would be impossible without the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services.
The impact in Saginaw and in the entire state will be very profound.
Last year, Michigan libraries lent over 1 million books through the Michigan Electronic Library, which is primarily funded by the IMLS. Maria McCarville remembers what it was like before the service went into effect 20 years ago.
We weren't able to get them the materials that they wanted and they needed. So they either, potentially could drive to the library where they had it, whether it be on the other side of the state, or they just didn't get what they needed.
The impact is even greater in rural areas with smaller libraries. They rely on loans from other libraries to fill in the gaps.
No library has enough in their budget to buy every single book, and so we share amongst the libraries. That's vital.
McCarville points out that the budget for the IMLS only makes up 0.04% of the federal budget.
It goes such a long way to promoting libraries, museums, cultural, institutions, and the loss of that funding would be devastating.
Sharing books and resources is not the only service paid for by the IMLS. Coming up on ABC 12 News at 6, I'll introduce you to the Bookmobile, which would not exist without this funding. In Saginaw, David Sackrider, ABC 12 News.